Hey there, my name's Dave, David, Pelican Sam, azahzahism. Anything else you can really think of? Actually, you know what? No, I take that back. I do not want to challenge the internet to come up with names for me. That would be an awful idea. But this is Battlefield 3 I'm playing today. I don't know why that's a but it is. Oh, man. What a good thing we have going here. I'm really enjoying this new patch. I think the suppression balance right now is absolutely perfect. I've only played about 7 games so far, so I don't know if that's just me being really thankful suppression's been toned down, or if it's actually a good balance. I guess we'll figure it out in about a couple weeks or so after you really break it down, you really play it a lot, get down to the basics. But for the most part, it's a beautiful thing right now. I'm loving this patch. I think that the game plays a little bit faster of a pace. I feel like bullets are doing more damage, people are falling down a lot easier, they're dying, that is to say, a lot easier. But for the most part, I don't think it's a bad thing. I don't really have any complaints at all. The only thing I don't really like is gadgets. Like right there, I just went to throw my ammo pack, and I used to enjoy lobbing them. If you didn't know, you could kind of, if you aimed up in the sky as you toss the pack, especially if you gave it a little bit of a jump, you could really get some distance on that ammo pack, or your health pack especially. And I found that really, really helpful, throwing those ahead of yourself, so you could just kind of, if you were running, you would just keep running forward, and you'd run through it, and as you ran through the radius of the health pack, for example, you'd be able to get like 40 health back, and you wouldn't even have to stop moving. So in those really, tight situations where you're trying to get to the final point rush, and you're almost out of tickets, or, even just a conquest, a really intense conquest point, it was really helpful, and also helpful to just kind of outrun pursuers sometimes to get some extra health and flip the tables on them. So I don't really care for that change very much, but it's only, like I said, only been 7 games. Maybe in a week or two I probably won't even notice it anymore, actually. So that's really my thoughts on the patch changes. It's a great game. I'm so happy that suppression has been changed. I really don't understand. I cannot express that. How happy I am that suppression has changed. I was playing Recon a lot. I really enjoy playing the Recon class, but I was feeling as though a lot of the times I would be at a disadvantage compared to support classes. I felt like if they just looked at me, I would instantly become suppressed, especially if they were under the suppression mechanic, or the suppression perk. Their suppression mechanic would just get ridiculously powerful, and trying to use a sniper rifle in that capacity I was finding it tough, especially near the end of the patch. But right now, I'm loving it. I've played with the Recon class just a little bit, not as much as I wanted to, and I'm really liking it. I really expect good things this patch, and I'm kind of excited now for close quarters. That might be one of the reasons actually why the game feels a little bit faster. Weapons might actually be doing a little bit more damage. I don't know what weapons were changed exactly. I know the M16 was for sure, and the dart was definitely changed. But other than those, I can't remember. I only briefly looked at the patch list, and I can't remember what, if anything, was changed or brought to parity with anything else. So the reason I'm showing this gameplay is I want to talk a little about Kharg Island. This is the 32-player version of the map, and I love Kharg Island. I think that, like everybody, Kharg Island is one of the best maps in this game. I think if it was up to a public vote, Caspian Border would probably become the favorite. But I like Kharg Island a lot myself. They're both great maps, honestly. They're true Battlefield maps in a lot of ways because of the vehicle combat. There's something about Kharg Island though. I love it, especially on the 32-player version. I love the way the points are set up. The C and D, or B and C. Sorry, C and D is what they are on a 64-player. But right now they're B and C for me in 32-player. And I love these points because of how close they are, and the way that it's set up in kind of that diamond formation, the entire map. It makes for such a good flow. Like it's got good fluidity to it. It's fun to play on, especially as infantry. It's unlike Caspian Border. I find Caspian Border you can get run over a lot in tanks or helicopters or even jets if the jet pilot is really good. Mostly helicopters and tanks though, and that can just completely discount anything you've done in the entire game if those guys are the opponents are really good with their chosen vehicle. So on this map, I feel like the tanks they're there and you feel the presence, and especially the helicopters too. Like you're aware of them, but because of the way it's set up And I think it's the way it's set up. It might just be just the general openness of the game too. Or, yeah, the openness, that's a good way of describing it. But it feels like it's just, they're a lot less susceptible to being attacked by those, and this was a horrible mistake on my part. It was bad accuracy, and I think I still had 20 rounds left. Yeah, 20 rounds left on my M4A1. I should not have switched at all to my pistol. That was a recon reflex that was kicking in there, saying switch to your pistol, and it was a bad mistake on my part. But yeah, so to go back to where I was, if I could do that, my brain doesn't seem to want to remember. Kharg Island, yes, Kharg Island Caspian border. That's where we were. I think I prefer it just because it doesn't feel like you're victimized as much by vehicles. Which vehicles are a big part of Battlefield for sure. But there has to be that balance where you can be able to play the infantry aspect of it without having to be worried about being mauled the entire time. And because of where B and C are, and they're so close, I think that might be part of it. Because if you don't, like, it's really hard to control both B and C on this map. If you control one, but you don't have like an iron grip on it, it's really easy to lose it. And especially considering that most people who are at B, if you don't control C, will head towards C and vice versa. So it gets a really good fluid to it. It's dynamic. That's the word I was looking for. Good dynamic to it. So it moves around a lot, and I think because it's such close distance that you don't really feel the effect of tanks very much. At least in the 32-player version. In the 64-player, admittedly it is a little bit more pronounced, the presence of tanks, but in this version it's good because infantry will run back and forth, or infantry will be spawning at B or C, and they'll be running towards A or towards D, trying to capture those points too. And I really like this map for that reason, and I think it's probably one of the best maps in the game. And another thing I like about this map a lot is that the rib boats, either like the little speedboats, if you know what the ribs are, they spawn at both the main bases on either the American or the Russian side, and they actually have a really good use. You can get to C really fast at either one of them. In fact, at the beginning of the game, I prefer to take a rib boat all the way to C. You'll usually get there if you start right at the beginning of the game. You'll usually get there before a jeep gets there. Sometimes it'll be pretty close. It depends on how full the jeep is, I suppose. But you usually get there first, and you can usually start capping before anybody else gets there. You might not end up capturing it, but it's a good start. Especially if you can get some people in the boat with you, which, you know, depends on how much your team is willing to help you out, which can vary from game to game. But to beat a dead horse here, the B and C objectives, the way they are, I also think because of it's the placement of where they are in the map. It's, I don't want to say genius because it's not. They're linear. It's not. It doesn't take a genius to figure that out. But because of where they are in junction with the D and the A posts, it makes it really hard to capture C and D and hold them if you don't control the D for the Russians or the A for the Americans. And I love that about this map, how it's a constant battle, a constant running back and forth between all the points. And this actually, I think I mentioned that actually I might not have, I don't know. I've got a really good team this round. They did a great job at reviving me. And this is actually only one technical life. I think I actually die about 7 or 8 times in this clip. But it only counts once because I get revived so many times. They did a fantastic job. And on this map especially, teamwork is so important because one person, like you see me doing before, I was running back and forth between C and B. I still have to do it here, but one person trying to do that, you can capture 1 point, but you're not going to win like that. You're going to have to keep going back and forth, and somebody else in the other team is going to keep doing the exact same thing, and it's not a good way to win. It doesn't work. So right here, you see we get the tank in the action, and we got some movement going on here. We eventually went on to win this game, actually. I think we won by about 100 points, so it wasn't too close, but the reason we did so well was just constantly hammering at these B and C objectives and trying to control them. So that is everything. That is everything I want to talk about today. I'm loving the patch. I'm gonna go play some Battlefield right now, actually, as soon as this is done. I cannot wait to be done this so I can go and play the patch some more. That's really all there is, though. Hope you guys watched it up to this point. If you haven't, you're a terrible person, but you will never know that. So whatever, deal with it, man. And I hope you guys stick around for some more. it's been a lot of fun. That's it. I'm terrible at editing these things, so I'm just gonna go right now.